Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of What's on Kickstarter, where we're going to be taking a look at the latest decks to drop in the past week. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And ring the bell.
Let's take a look at what funded last week. First, congratulations to Fractured Playing Cards. Congratulations to the Flexible 2.0 Playing Cards. Congratulations to Kata's Almanac number 3 Transformation Playing Cards Reproduction, which will have funded by the time this airs. And ending in the next week, we have Fruits Playing Cards, Symbols of Revolution Playing Cards, Generation 1 Playing Cards First Edition, Ketchup and Fries Playing Cards, Vampire Playing Cards Western Vampires, Royal Pizza Palace Playing Cards, the Morgan Strebler Legacy Decks White or Black, the Spaghetti Playing Cards, the ZDV2 Retro from December Boys, the Transflux Playing Cards 2nd Edition, the Benchmark Playing Cards, and before we jump into it, let's take a quick word from our sponsor. Alright, so what do we got first this week, Steve?
Let's check it out. Mindset, huh?
Yeah, Mindset Playing Cards. Let's see.
Oh, the 50% funded in 24 hours. That's
Nice. Follow your dreams. Cards for collectors, magicians, and everyday user. Fully marked deck printed by USPCC. So I gotta say, I like the fact that they mentioned the fact that it's fully marked and printed by USPCC right in the title. It would also be nice to see the fulfillment through there as well, unless obviously it's self-fulfilled and that's a different story.
agreed.
But yeah, let's check it out. Follow your dreams. Hello, my name is Anthony Stan. I am from France, and I've been doing magic for over 15 years. Create a production company. I love the fact that there's like a heartwarming story immediately to it, and then rolls right into the features, which I think is perfect. Limited edition, only 2,500 decks will be printed, custom fronts and backs, fully marked deck, premium crush stock, printed by a US playing card company.
Nice. Would be good to see, like you said, who's fulfilling it.
Yep.
Silver in place of some of the yellow. And
interestingly enough, there's like, it looks like there's writing down the sides as well.
yeah.
So that's here we go. List of the 12 quotes. List of the 12 quotes, each court card.
Interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting kind of take on yeah, new little way to customize those courts. Full size pips on the aces.
Inspirational quotes. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I have to say, this is dives in the marking right there. Shipping Gambler's Warehouse, very cool. So yeah, using Gamblers, I would definitely say bring that into the top in the subtitle. I'd maybe even replace the meant for magicians and, you know, everyday users kind of thing. Maybe say, you know, a deck designed for magicians, printed by USPCC, fulfilled by Gambler's Warehouse. A little more concise, but gets those 2 points home. Great use of the logos there. Talks about who French orders will be fulfilled with as well, which I think is super important. If you're new to Kickstarter, awesome content there. Make sure that everyone knows how to how to fund and everything. And
what we got for a price?
$18 shipped.
Not bad.
You know, for a marked deck, that's really not bad.
What is it without shipping?
Without shipping, 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
You know, not bad at all. Brings you up to 30 or 29 if you get 2, which means that you're actually looking at about $14.5 per deck, which isn't bad, and that's shipped. So you do have the better discounts as you order more. What was their goal looking like too here? Take a look. 4,869. That's really a really solid price too. Yeah, for a.
Yeah, I mean that's low.
That's yeah. Low. I mean that's actually pretty low considered they're shooting for a 2,500 goal. The one thing I will say there then is shipping very well could become an issue with this if it doesn't fund significantly beyond the goal. if 2,500 is the absolute minimum you're going to do because you want the crushed stock, you're looking at least $7,500 there minimum just for the decks. So that really is something you should take into consideration there. Deck printing plus shipping. You always want to make...
Plus what Kickstarter's taking,
plus,
10%.
Yeah, plus the 10% for Kickstarter. So yeah, you really want to make sure that that goal is as close to accurate as possible, because if you're hoping that overfunding is going to drive that, it's a very, very risky play there. So better to have a higher goal that's accurate than a lower goal to hit that funding goal earlier. But good luck to you guys. It looks like a fun deck. Next up, we have the here. Bicycle Playing Cards Las Vegas Edition Relaunch 2.0. So we had already seen this deck previously. Let's see where you can already tell price point is a major issue on this one. $25 shipped is a lot. This is the one.
So that's $8 shipping in the US.
$8 shipping in the US.
That's crazy for one deck.
Yeah. And I mean, all things considered, like the price point of the deck itself is $17. It's a standard deck. There's no embossing, foiling on the tuck. The cards themselves, while fully custom, are still a pretty standard design. So fully custom out the door, this is probably closer to a $14 deck, I would say. And then with $5 shipping, if you used a fulfillment, this would be a $19 deck. And I think that would be reasonable. $25 for this is a high price point there. The other thing I will say too is there's not actually a lot of text on this campaign. It's just a ton of pictures. And that doesn't really convey a story. Like going back to the top here, we can see that we did not do badly, and this design was supported by not a small number of backers. There were enough comments, we decided to make a change. So it seems like, all right, here we go. It seems like the story itself just isn't that compelling, and it's a little too low. I would actually say that this aspect of the fact that it's a relaunch should be part of the story. Also, what I would say is, okay, it's Bicycle branded, and it's going to be printed by Bicycle, aka USPCC, but what stock are you using? Is it going to be standard or premium? Is it going to be crushed? How many decks are you looking to print? All of these things come into play here, especially 4,500 goal. You're very close to it. I'd say that you're probably going for a standard 1,000 run of standard stock. But it's really helpful to make sure that you have the story told. You can't solely rely on pictures for the campaign. I think the pictures are great, actually, and I think the pictures themselves, if there was the story interdispersed with it, would really be a very compelling campaign and could see this go farther, because I think there are a lot of people who like this design. That price point is just a hindrance for sure.
Dude, go up for a second. Right there. No, go down. The 3 decks, go down. So there's 3 different decks.
So that's interesting.
So go over to the left on the prices. If you go down, it shows the basic design in the yellow right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So at $4,500, you're looking at 1 deck print run. Printing 3 decks, Bicycle branded.
You're gonna lose a lot of money in this campaign.
Yeah. And the fact is, you have backers in multiple decks, which means that you're looking at potentially $15,000 just for printing these 3 decks. Maybe closer to 12-ish, but Bicycle branding is going to add cost to it. 1,000 print.
Yeah, I mean, if you're printing 3 decks, it's definitely, let's say it costs $350 per deck at 1,000.
Yeah, $3,500
times 3.
We're looking at $10,500 plus Bicycle branding on top of that, which is a couple cents each deck. So I
think it's 30 cents per deck.
Yeah, something around there. Yeah. So you're looking at a pretty significant price point here, and you've now basically locked yourself into 3 deck prints because you have tiers that have these. That's something to me that definitely stands out as a concern, because where's that other minimum $6,000, and that's not even including shipping coming from. You want to look at shipping, that's another $5,000 on this project, so that's where 15 minimum would be.
How many people have backed it so far?
71.
Yeah, I mean this.
Yeah.
71 backers at 42. Doesn't sound right.
I mean, all things considered, I think this deck has a lot of potential, but the numbers just aren't adding up. That's something that me as a backer, I'd be concerned about. But I think also is an opportunity for the creator here to actually address those concerns. Why is the goal so low? How are you printing 3 decks with those? Who's going to be fulfilling? Because at $8, it doesn't look like it's going to be, you know, Gamblers. Is it going to be Gamblers, Art of Play, Murphy's? I don't know if we actually made it down to the bottom, but let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything of fulfillment here. I think, again, there's a lot of good images. They're eye-catching. They're flashy, but it needs more text.
Oh, is it? You only get those decks if they are unlocked? What's so the black and blue deck with yellow
unlocks at 8,000. So
weird. So they have tiers, and they might not even unlock that tier.
Yeah.
So 1 basic, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. So that's 3 decks right there. But if you don't unlock those decks, or black and yellow deck.
Yeah, so what do the backers get if you don't unlock the blue deck, but they've pledged for the blue deck? I think that's something to be genuinely, like, you need to be upfront about that as well, or at least make it more visible within the campaign, because again, there's a lot of pictures, but not a lot of text. This is...
Dude, there's five decks, actually. Go up. 1 more. Right there. 5 decks.
Oh, that's just a price point, yeah.
So there's the black and yellow deck with purple. Will open when we reach 4,000. That will open when we reach 8.
So ultimately,
okay, so those are different than the yellow and blue then.
So ultimately, the concern is here, there's a lot of missed clarity that needs to be addressed, because there are 3 potential decks here. Not all decks that are being backed are going to be fulfilled unless the goal is hit. And I think something needs to be, you know, mentioned as to whether or not, okay, a black and a blue deck with a yellow S will be open when we reach our goal of $8,000. What happens if you don't reach that goal? That's something backers want to know, because if they're backing at that tier, they're expecting specific decks. So you need to let them know what it's going to be. That being said, I think that needs to be addressed before this campaign completes, just because there's a lot of questions that'll arise there. And there's a lot of opportunity to put in more information there. So, good luck.
I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good luck.
Next up, we have the Golf Legends deck. Take a look.
Dude, maybe Jack Nichols will be in here.
Could be. Let's see what we got here. Play a round of golf or a game of poker with friends. Apparently 2 different passions that now, thanks to Golf Legends, will be united forever. Cool. Interesting concept. I like how there's, like, these are definitely hand-drawn. It kind of looks like Tiger Woods has kind of like a cat face there. It's definitely an interesting deck.
Here's the tiger.
Yeah. Fully custom. Full back design. Definitely got some good color to it. I think off the bat, story looks pretty good. The one thing that comes to me, though, is I want to know about you a little bit as well. Why is this deck motivational to you? Or why was this something you wanted to create? Are you a big fan of poker and golf? I'd assume that's the case.
Oh.
Cool. Something interesting. See as they're being unlocked while the campaign goes on. That's a cool way to kind of draw interest. I think sometimes that can be a little deterring to some people who want to back because they want to know what the full deck's going to look like, but that's definitely a possibility.
Oh, it's cool. It kind of looks... You put 3 of them together.
Yeah, you have a transformation style there, yeah. Decks will be printed by Print Ninja or USPCC, depending on the final goal. So that's hopefully something we see in the stretch goal, which it is not. One thing I will say there is if you're going to use an alternative printer, you need to clearly define what that goal is. With your initial goal of, what, $14,000?
Well, dude, let's take a look at how much he's asking per deck here. I get the feeling that it's
$34. Yeah. So there's a lot about this that I think needs help, and it's not so much the campaign itself. The pictures, the text, all looks good. The things that concern me here are, at what goal point do you use USPCC versus Print Ninja, especially if you have a $14,000 goal? Is that a stretch goal, or is it an intermediate part of the campaign where at $9,000 you decide it's going to be USPCC, but then you're still not fully funded, so there's no guarantee the deck actually funds? At $14,000, you could print 3,000 of this deck, basically, without issue, maybe 5,000. What's your goal that you're planning on printing here? Is it going to be 1,000? And if that's the case, like, the goal should reflect that. I think at that goal point, Print Ninja shouldn't even be on the table. It should be a USPCC deck. So, like, I think that needs to be addressed. Stretch goals would also be helpful here. And what's the cadence at which the pictures are being revealed? I think there's a lot of open questions there, to be honest, but the deck itself looks interesting. Price point, again, though, should be significantly lower, and I wonder how much of that is because of quotes from somewhere like Print Ninja for a small print run of maybe 100 decks being $30 each. Could make sense. But
I mean, you can get 30 decks at MPC, which is much better, I assume, than Print Ninja.
Yeah.
Or $17.50 a deck.
Yeah, so it really becomes
$34 regardless. That's a price you're going to throw on a gilded deck.
Yeah.
Foiled gilded.
Yeah, foiled gilded, the works. And from what I can see, this looks like a relatively standard tuck and deck. So I think the price point definitely needs to be addressed. Also, though, like I said,
half of that.
What's that?
I said I'd say about half of that.
And the printer needs to be addressed as well, though. At that price point, at half of that, that's assuming you're printing with someone like USBCC or Cardamundi, not Print Ninja. So it's something I would consider here. It sounds like this may, if this campaign does fail, I wouldn't be discouraged by it. I think the deck has a lot of potential, but it's something to take back to the drawing board and really figure out all those key points like your stretch goal, who you're printing with, what your actual feasible price point should be, and go from there.
Yeah. Oh, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Next up, we have
a lot of tarot decks this week.
Yeah, surprisingly large amount of tarot decks. You have the Regium playing cards, a set of poker playing cards inspired by royal families.
Dude, I love that tuck on the left.
Yeah, it looks good. Intricately crafted with undeniable character and flair, Regium playing cards, successor of Brandley's series. This set includes 2 decks, classic and antique, each deck with its own unique hand-drawn card faces. All right, so let's see what we got here. Highlights: limited edition,
printed
by NPCC, classic and antique deck in the set. So definitely a collector's set, geared towards collectors, being an NPCC production, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't mention it, but they're probably using NPCC's Noir fulfillment as well, just because it makes sense. It's an all in-house kind of thing. Design on this really is awesome. I think it's very intricate. I love that little kind of sunburst background to it in the sweep of the scroll almost. Very cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I dig it. I mean, this thing in foil would be
amazing. Yeah. Definitely a nice design. Great build out of the story there. Great visualization of the decks themselves. Nice. Points out the metallic ink, which is going to be very cool. Dope Joker. Touches on the stretch goals, produced in Ukraine, perfect. Yeah, the one thing I would say is I would confirm fulfillment. Again, I'm making the assumption that Noir is going to be fulfilling it just because I know that they have fulfillment services.
Isn't that their logo right there?
Yeah, but it says produced in the Ukraine by NPCC. It doesn't say fulfilled by. So what I'm trying to get at is I think it's important to specifically make that distinction that you will be fulfilling with them as well. Or if you're self-fulfilling, mention that as well. I think it never hurts. Even if you're using the same company to do both, you should mention that you're doing both.
Oh, there we go. We are working with close operation with NPCC. Shipping and sourcing problems.
Yeah, so yes.
I think they are. They just have
again, so we're making the assumption, but yeah, they should definitely make the distinction there, the specific distinction. This will be fulfilled by Noir Arts, is what I'm saying. Price point, $15 shipped. You can't even beat that.
Nice.
Yeah. Being a collector's deck, that's a steal. If you're into this artwork, $15 is phenomenal. Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of legs on this deck. So already doubled their funding, no surprise there. So congratulations on that, and I can't wait to see how much farther this goes with 21 days left. So good luck.
Yep.
And next up, we have the Beyond Out of This World playing cards. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen a space-themed deck. First of all, hi, I'm Stefan, graphic and surface pattern designer and illustrator based in the UK. This is my debut in the world of playing cards, the first of a number of planned decks, but enough about me. I'm here to introduce Beyond, the space exploration inspired deck. Printed by Cardamundi. Awesome. Immediately jumps into the printing. With inspiration from the lunar landing 50th anniversary. Very cool. Tell us about the inspiration behind it. Interesting thing about it to me is the design itself, other than the quartz, seems very lackluster in the space theme. Like, I can tell the back design, you know, on close inspection is like little stars, and it has a very like B-esque design to it, which I actually like. But I feel like there could have been a lot more of the thematic aspect of it in the pips and things like that, because they are custom pips. A space theme would have been really cool for those, especially on the aces, from what I can see here. Let's see. Shortly after sketching the original idea, I wanted to redesign the pips for my deck. 100% makes sense. If you're going that custom route, it's worthwhile.
I dig that color.
Yeah, I think this deck has a lot of potential. It's a really good-looking deck. So the one thing I would say is, while you're printing with Cartamundi, also mention what stock you're going to be using. Is it B9 or B9 Slimline? It would also be helpful to mention the fulfillment. Are you going to be using someone like 52 Wonders in the European Union? Are you going to be using JoQ? Or are you going to be using someone in the US for US backers? These kind of things are definitely helpful to mention from the jump, because it'll A, show where the price point is, but it'll also show that you've thought through the process. You have an understanding of everything that's going to go into this. Again, I think Cartamundi's a great choice for it, but I'd be curious what the stock is, because this does look like a usable deck. It doesn't look like it's going to be solely a collector's deck. This could be something that magicians, if they really wanted to, or cardists could use. I'd say more towards the cardistry side. But personally, there we go. Printed on new slimline stock, premium by Perfect. So I would say I bring that. It works there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the top. That's where the features are.
Yeah,
so.
no, it makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. What's that? Designed in the United Kingdom, except for the one card I sketched in the features.
Cool. Fun little tidbit there. I like that personal aspect of this. I really dig this deck. I think it's it's got a lot of potential. I really like the courts. Just wish there was a little more space, you know?
Are they all the same? Oh no, they're not.
No, it looks like they potentially could be.
Yeah, it looks.
Oh, no, the bodies are different, but the faces are the same. So, on some of them, I guess. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So different courts across the board. Little stylistic differences. Still have a standard feel to it, but it's a nice looking deck.
Yeah, it's fun. If that's your style, for sure.
What do we have price point wise? 21 shipped. So, and this is where I would say fulfillment may help, especially if you're looking at a significant amount of your backers being in the US at a $14 price point for the deck, which I think is about fair. I'd say maybe $12 to $14 really. Shipping at $5 should be attainable, so it would bring it to about $17 to $19 depending. So you'd save those $2 there. I definitely think that's a worthwhile thing to look into for fulfillment. Next, what do we have for 2 decks? 31. So it's a pretty significant price drop. It's from 1 deck to 2, which I think is great.
Yep.
And you have the tiers pretty well set up. You still have some early birds on there, which is interesting. Let's see what we have price point wise. So the one thing I would say about the price point for 6 decks between them, you're saving about $4. So you're looking at less than $1 a deck savings, which is a little bit low on that, and probably why the early bird at 6 isn't probably selling as quickly as you would have hoped. I'd say you could probably lower that a couple more dollars there as well, just to make it competitive and make people want to back in for the brick, or for the half brick. So, yeah, nice deck, man. Good luck. What was that, Steve?
It's a low goal.
Yeah.
$3,300.
Yeah, so small print run there, but yeah, that is a little bit low, especially considering shipping. Something to worry about too there, because if you do fund, that's going to be that's probably the exact quote number at $330 a deck for 1,000 decks. So something to consider for sure is shipping is going to cost you a couple $1,000s. So you want to make sure that if you do fund, you have that built into it. If this doesn't fund, it may be a good opportunity for you to revise that goal. Well, yeah. So Steve, be back in this week.
I am gonna save my money, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till next week, see if anything else comes up.
You know what? I think out of this week for me, and this is a personal preference just on the style, I'd say I'd back the Regium playing cards. I'm not a big fan of NPCC, but from a collector point of view, it's a good looking deck.
Right on.
Yeah. So guys, let us know down in the comments below what you would be backing this week. We're always curious to see. And make sure to tune in next week for another episode of What's on Kickstarter.
Peace.